for sure. There we go. Well, as Mr. Drennan alluded to in the chat, some things are changing. Actually, a lot of things are changing. But one thing that never changes is that we always start our calls with our signature message. And it goes like this. I'm part of a growing team of entrepreneurs with a shared mission to protect and empower 2 million families and small businesses with Legal Shield's network of law firms and our world-class identity theft services. What we do matters, and we are looking for help. With that, I have the pleasure not only of hosting the Zoom this evening, but introducing the founder of Success Partners, the man who, along with Mr. Timmer Halligan, conceptualized this new format for us. He's also a Millionaire Club member and a still relatively new resident of New Hampshire, Mr. John Drennan. Sir, the Zoom room is all yours.
Thank you so much, Steve Beck, and you're so awesome. Happy 4th of July weekend, everybody. You know, 4th of July, Independence Day, the theme is freedom. And freedom, I think when you have money freedom and time freedom, now you have choice freedom. And I believe everyone is seeking that. And that can be accomplished here. Steve, I want to just say kudos to you. I was on early and the very first song was Summertime. I happened to read an article a couple days ago that said that is the #1 cover song of all time. And there it was being played tonight. And then he mentioned 2 James Taylor songs, Mexico and Carolina. And again, throughout tonight, you'll know why. And it just so happens on Thursday night, I saw James Taylor live outside Manchester, New Hampshire. That was absolutely incredible. So anyhow, enough of that. Let's get into tonight's Zoom. And yes, we have changed the format and we're being consistent with what Legal Shield is doing with the announcement several weeks ago that Legal Shield is going to a once a month communication show instead of what has been for years, a weekly leadership show. And a big reason for that is to simplify. Another reason is they know the information's getting out in different ways. And I think it's smart to look at how can we free up people's time? How can we be redundant, but not be overly redundant? So we as a team are going to match that. So our Sunday Zoom will typically be the first Sunday of the month. I say typically because we always want this Zoom to follow that communication show. So for example, if today was July 1st, I'm not sure that we'd be doing the Zoom tonight. It might be next week. So just be aware, it's usually going to be the very first Sunday. Also because we're doing it once a month, expect it to go beyond 20, 25, 30 minutes. However, it's not going to be our goal to hit a time frame. It's going to be our goal to share what's most significant in that month, at that time, on that day. So we want relevance to kind of carry the day here. And so again, the format will vary most likely. Now, the highlight of the communication show that was played on Friday is that there were 10 announcements. And rarely have I seen Legal Shield say, we're going to deliver 10 things, but they did that. And those things varied in significance. You know, it was 10 things. Well, I'm really pleased that we're going to start with that tonight. And Timmer Halligan's going to take us through those. And before he does that, I just want everyone to know that Timmer and I have effectively repartnered. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, most of you know for about 2 years, I've been on a sabbatical or partial sabbatical for a number of reasons. And Timmer has as well. And just kind of came off, as we all know, the passing of his mother and a lot of time and energy that went toward that. But the timing of what's going on here with our lives, with this company, with a new CEO and CFO coming this direction and the various changes, the timing's right for he and I to lock arms and, you know, be in the, I think of it as an aircraft, you know, we're flying this ship right now. And so Timmer, I'm thrilled to be on here tonight, and I'm thrilled to hand this Zoom over to you to go through the 10 announcements. And I get that most people here watched them, but we know that repetition's the mother of skill. We know this is really important to go through them. So over to you, sir.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Drennan. And, you know, it is good to really be back, you know, and, you know, as Mr. Drennan talked about, you know, he was been out for a little bit of time, really focusing on the important things for where he's at in his life. And I know you recently just re-engaged, you know, and got yourself back into Performance Club following the awesome announcement we had the month prior to get back into Performance Club. And, you know, I'm just coming off really a 4-week sabbatical while I was dealing with the passing of my mom, and appreciate everybody's support there. And, you know, the company came out with some announcements, you know, even, you know, while I was sitting in Louisville, you know, dealing with some things, you know, I celebrated my 18th year anniversary with Legal Shield. And, you know, here's what I realized as I was away for 4 weeks, for longest time I've ever been away from this business, is that this business works. Every single day while I was away, I could count on Legal Shield making a deposit for work that myself and the amazing team have done over the last 18 years. And that really, really hit home to what it is that we have. You know, I've been looking at over the last couple of days, you know, I saw, you know, Linda Beck actually made a post on Facebook today, you know, talking about the services that we provide in Legal Shield. And you know, I saw one lady who's been a member of ours for a long, long time say, I will never be without this membership. They have helped me so incredibly much with all things I've got going on in life. I saw another lady say, Linda, I'm ready to get started now with Legal Shield. See, what we do really matters. See, when I was in Kentucky, here's what I realized about our membership. My father used our membership 4 times in 2 weeks. And watching what this service does for somebody, question number 1, which I didn't know the answer. He said, what do I do about my wife's Social Security? What happens with that? Who do I call? What do I do? Where's that money go? What do I get? He called up Legal Shield. They called him back. We went through it. Hey, I got to change my will now because some things have changed. What do I need to do? How do I need to do it? He called them up. They got right back to him. He had a situation where my mother actually had a life insurance plan, and somehow they had her listed as her own beneficiary. And they said, I'm sorry, you're not gonna be able to collect that money. He called up Legal Shield and they took care of it, right? I mean, these are the things that our services can help people with. And when I got back and I knew that July 1st was coming and the announcements were coming, I was so excited. And I'm so excited today.
Timmer, you just muted yourself.
Sorry. They were very, very powerful in the growth of what we can do. You know, we're right now, you know, July 4th is tomorrow, and July 4th is about the declaration of our independence following the American Revolutionary War, right? It is time to declare your financial independence because Legal Shield has made it simpler and easier for us to get there. So number 1, first announcement Legal Shield made. Typically we have 2 events a year every single year. We've got a leadership event. We've got our international convention. What they've done is say the leadership event in September, they are going to forego that and make it in a leadership Zoom October 1st. Now, one of the things they'd said, and this is where you don't realize, is that even when we did virtual events, it still cost the company over $300,000 to do it. Here's what they said. We're going to save the $300,000 and reinvest it back into the field. So it's a complimentary, no-cost event, October 1st, 2022. Second announcement that they made is that we've got an all-new prospect by PPLSI coming up. And in this month, what you'll see is we had Prospect by Legal Shield. Now, Prospect by PPLSI, Prepaid Legal Services Incorporated, is going to be launched this month. I think it's going to be more interactively and user-friendly based on the things that I've seen. And what they're going to do during the month of July is you'll still have the two programs running side by side. But come October 1st, it's going to be Prospect by PPLSI. Watch for the announcement. You'll be able to download the app once everything gets announced in the very, very near future. Second is the rebranding or restarting of our Getting Started Right program. I think the company has done an incredible job over the last couple of years to really simplify the Getting Started program. Now, the Getting Started program now, I mean, it's really as easy as 1, 2, 3. So the new Getting Started program, if you go over to begintheascent.com, our team website, begintheascent.com, you go to the Getting Started page, you'll click right on there. And so you'll be able to see what the new Getting Started process is all about. So that's coming actually already has started. I looked at it tonight when I switched over and looked at the team's website. Performance Club. Now, here's the great thing about great businesses. They take a look at, sometimes you make changes and you implement things and you believe it's going to be for the best, but maybe in looking at it, you think, you know what, maybe that type of a change wasn't exactly how we wanted it to be implemented and the results we got. So number one, if you remember a couple years ago, we went from in Performance Club where the recruiting component of Performance Club went away. It was all about membership premium. Makes sense. I've done these types of things in the businesses and the consultants I have. And on many occasions, I've gone back and said, you know what, maybe that decision wasn't probably the best decision. So guess what they did? They came back and said, now Performance Club, and they did this last month and they realized it really, really helped. So now recruiting is back into the Performance Club mix where it actually helps you to be able to get to Performance Club. And so you definitely want to check that out. Performance Club Pro is this, you can get $200 in monthly premium or $150 in monthly premium plus one new associate joining. So 150, so 3 memberships and 1 new associate, or $100 in premium. I want you to think about this. 2 memberships, 2 associates now brings you to Performance Club Pro. And boy, is that not going to play in really, really well when we talk about the trip here in just a few minutes. They also, again, a great decision was to go back to the Advanced to Manager program. In the past, actually prior to about 2 months ago, it was bring in 4 associates because they're trying to develop people to get towards platinum. So 4 associates and $500 in premium to become a manager. We've gone back to what really, really worked the best, which is 3 associates, $300 in premium. Really? So think about that. 3 associates, $300 in premium. Just by marketing, think about how you can develop this and layer it in. Simply by marketing 3 memberships with 3 associates, you've already hit $150 in premium if it's an individual. If it's a family, you've already reached about $180 worth of premium. You help each one of them get their first membership. You are now a manager and you pick up a $700 bonus. You find me anywhere where I can generate $300 worth of business and to be able to have $700 in bonuses, that's not even counting the commissions and the overrides. Absolutely incredible. Now, listen, we are in a new place right now with our company. Mr. Jeff Bell stepped aside. He's had to go take care of some health challenges for himself, his family. And, I know things are going well for him. And with new leadership comes some different changes and enhancements to fire up the field. Well, one thing, again, they made a decision a couple years ago, and I understand the decision. Listen, Legal Shield pays advanced commissions. They pay you up front for several months worth of people having the services. And so they made the decision a couple years ago that when somebody joins the business, we will pay them as earned for their first couple memberships. Makes total sense on so many different fronts, but can maybe destimulate. If someone sold 1 or 2 memberships but didn't fast start qualify, let's say you're earning $70 for your first sale and it got broken down into as earned, so about $7, $8 a month, and you didn't fast start qualify and you didn't hit senior associate, and they really maybe didn't even release the monies yet because it takes a certain amount before it triggers it to release, you feel kind of stagnant in your growth. Well, they've gone back to advanced commissions from day one of membership sales. Day one of membership sales, you get paid advanced commissions 12 months out, right? Right from the very beginning. Circle of Champions, this is where you get the opportunity to work with some of the top associates. I encourage you. I put all of these announcements over on the Beginning of the Ascent.com Facebook page, so go check them out. The new trip, Puerto Vallarta, great. Listen, we just got our stuff in the mail, Amy and I, the other day to go to Hawaii. I am so looking forward to going to Hawaii, having a few days to just chill out. It's been a really, really tough and crazy month and just pandemic in general. So the new trip, Puerto Vallarta, here's all I'm going to say about it. I know John's going to talk more about it in a little bit, is every single person can qualify for the trip. No leaderboard. Everybody can participate in the trip. Level Up Challenge. Listen, those looking to go to executive director, $1,000 for hitting it for the first time. If you haven't hit executive director this year, you can hit this. You can take advantage of this. $1,000 for executive director, $2,000 for bronze, $3,000 for silver, $4,000 for gold. Folks, it's your time. So if you haven't been there, let's go for it, right? And then we've got the last one I'm going to talk about real quick is, over these next couple of days, July 1st through the 7th, we've got the I'm Fired Up for Builder Blitz. And what that means is that, if you bring in a brand new associate with $100 in premium, you pick up $100 between now and the 7th. 2 associates and $150 in premium, $200 bonus, plus that puts you in Performance Club, right? $300 bonus when you've got 2 new associates and $200 in personal premium. And one of the things that, Don said the other day, and I realized this in my consulting business, is the world right now is in a little bit more of a difficult financial world. I've got employees that are coming to me all the time saying, I can't survive right now with the raise and where inflation is today. I mean, these are legitimate conversations I'm having on a daily basis. People that I'm paying $60, $70, $80, $90, $100,000 a year are saying, I can't get by. And, this business right here, the opportunity that we give for people to be able to generate a little bit of extra money. Listen, if you're giving people 3, 4, 5% raise, an extra couple $100 a month is a huge deal. And so right now, from a recruiting perspective, let me tell you, you want to get this information in front of people and you want them to be able to make a choice. Don't make the decision for people because you predetermine what it is that you think they want to have. You want to bring this opportunity, and you absolutely want to bring these services to people because difficult financial times bring on difficult legal situations. So with that, to be able to elaborate a little bit more about some other things about the incentives that we've got, I'm going to send it back over now to my good friend, Mr. John Drennan.
Thanks so much, Timmer, and great job there. And that was very helpful for all of us. And I want to go back to the last points you made. Number one is the number 10 announcement of the week, the 1 week blitz. And here's why that's especially significant. Think about this. Anyone you're sharing this business with could get started here early in July learn about the PC trip, and next summer be going on probably the first all-paid trip in their lifetime. And that will motivate some people. Secondly, Timmer, you're so spot on with what's going on out there with people looking, and we've seen the data explained to us in the past, but the number of people who are looking for side gigs, side hustles, additional ways to earn income, wanting to do it from home, wanting to be able to do it when they're traveling. And we have all that. So the timing is phenomenal for us. And the main thing we need to do is make friends and share information, be a friend and share information. So with that, I want to go back to the PC trip, and you mentioned it, Timmer. Everyone can go. And I want that to sink in for a minute. Everyone can go. That means everyone that's listening to me right now can go. So what do I mean? You might say, well, that's always been the case. Well, yes and no. No, because in the past, you might have done well, but you might have missed it by just that much because they had a leaderboard and they cut it off at a certain number of people. Not this trip. Everyone can go if you meet the criteria. So you're not competing against Timmer or me or Jason or Danny Godin or anyone else. You're competing simply with what it takes to get there. So I want to talk about that now. And by the way, these are the two documents that go through the trip in detail. And I know those were sent this week as an email from PPLSI listing out the 10 announcements Timmer just went through. And then you can click on different announcements and get the details. And that's what that is. I know you can also pull it off LS Engage. I don't know that by going to my LS Engage because it's been down since July 1st. But I know that because I just know they've put it on LS Engage. So go get the documents. Okay, but speaking of documents, our own Lee Perry created a document to help us, all of us, to track our own effort toward this trip. Before I go into that document, I want to say this. There's about 35 people on here. Some of you have been on a lot of trips. Some of you have never been on a trip. Some of you have been on different trips. Most of you haven't been on trips where someone else paid for it, unless it was a PC trip through Legal Shield. So I want you to think about, do you even own a passport? And if not, that's a clue. What would it be like to go to a world-class resort for 4 nights and experience this with a spouse, a child, a parent? And I am pulling up right now. I had pulled this up on my phone, and what it is the website for the Hilton in Puerto Vallarta. And here's what it lists under all-inclusive benefits, which is what you'll enjoy. Under dining and drinks, it says breakfast, lunch, dinner at our 14 dining outlets. Unlimited drinks and cocktails. Mini bar stocked daily with premium drinks and snacks. You know how in the US, if you open that dreaded refrigerator and pull something out and you're hungry and you eat it, there's like $5-6 tacked on your bill. Here, you could be pulling stuff out all day and night. You're not charged for it. The activities, group yoga, fitness and wellness, daily cultural activities, music and entertainment every night. The amenities and services, personalized welcome amenity, pool and beach service, personal concierge. And it's a world-class venue. So I would like to encourage you all to daydream a little bit, go to the site, imagine yourself being there, feeling the sun, knowing you can eat whatever, whenever, you're with someone you love, and you're with a whole bunch of other people who are just taking it all in. And then realize you can go because, again, you're only competing with yourself. So with that, I am going to pull up the form that Lee Perry created. Bear with me while I share my screen. And someone let me know you can see that.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Bear with me. I've got to move a couple things on my screen so things aren't in the way. Okay, so you can see Success Partners, we created this tracking sheet for Puerto Vallarta, the Hilton Riviera, next year, July 18th through 22nd. So how do you go? Well, the first count, okay, first of all, it shows 8 months beginning with this month. So it's basically an 8-month time period, July through February. Notice the first column says 200 PC Pro. That means 200 premium. But as Timmer explained, there's a couple ways to do it. You can get 200 premium coming from the premium of membership sales, or as it shows up above, and hopefully you can see my arrow here, you can get 150 in premium plus 1 associate, or 100 in premium plus 2 associates. So there's 3 ways to achieve PC Pro. Now right here it says 8 months minimum, 6 out of 8. The 6 out of 8 is key. You have to be in PC Pro 6 of the 8 months. Now you might say, gee, I've been in PC regularly, but I haven't ever hit PC Pro, or I've only hit that a couple times. Well, you want to go on the trip? Hit PC Pro 6 out of 8. So that's why I'm saying go check out the venue. Think about being there. Think about, okay, this is going to be worth it to up my game a bit here for 6 of the 8 months. Now, then it says back up 2 months, meaning let's say you hit Pro 6 months. Well, the other 2 months you need to be in PC, and that's 100 premium. Okay, so if you hit 100 premium in July, you're in the running for going on the trip. Now that means there's 7 months to go, and you're going to have to hit PC Pro 6 of the 7, but you hit PC this month, you're in the running. What I want to encourage, if you're somebody that says, I'm going to use this form because I'm going on this trip, hit Pro this month. The next column shows 15, and that is the number of associates you need to bring in the next 8 months in order to go.
Oh my God.
So let's break that down. And let's stay muted, please, everyone. Let's break that down. That's 2 associates a month. Now check how this works. Come back here to PC Pro. You do the 100 premium, which is the equivalent of PC, but you also add 2 associates a month. Not only are you in PC Pro every month, but you would end up with 16 associates. So I'm going to challenge all of us that each month we hit a minimum of 100 premium and a minimum of 2 associates. Here's what that does. Guarantees you've done this column, guarantees you've done this column. That only leaves one more thing. And that's down here toward the lower part of the form. And that is fast start qualification. You need at least 3 new associates to fast start qualify. Now that's 3 out of 15, that's 1 out of 5, that's 20%. And company numbers are right in that area across the board. Some people do way better than that. So 3 of those 15 need to fast start qualify. The form's also got a place for you to add notes over time as you're tracking. We put the first note in there for you. It says new associates that join in July can begin their PC qualification for Puerto Vallarta. Okay, so where do you get this form? Well, a couple places. One, it's going on our calendar. I don't believe it's up right now, but check it out tomorrow at successpartnerscalendar.com. Secondly, I believe it is up, and Lee Perry, I'm actually going to ask you, because you probably are ahead of me on this. If you can unmute and come on, can you let people know where they can get this form?
Yeah, it'll be on the calendar, John. Facebook has changed things, and Timmer, if you can tell me where to put it for the file, that would be great, but I couldn't find it in our group to be able to add it to the Facebook group.
And is it in the chat right now? Because I'm not on the chat at the moment.
No, I'll see if I can do that, John.
Okay. We'll make sure there's a way for everyone to get this form. And I recommend you make copies of it, and the next associate on your team you see, show it to them, especially if they're not on here. Once you have a new associate come on board, talk them through it. Not assuming they want to go on this trip. You start by having a conversation. What would it be like? What would it feel like? How would you like to have this opportunity? Take them to the Hilton Puerto Vallarta website. Talk about all-inclusive. Everything's paid for, including your flights. Okay. I was able to get to the chat here, so I'm just taking a peek. Okay, so if anyone has questions on the form, the way I've just shown it and described it, please put those in the chat now as we continue. But with that, I am going to stop my share. I am going to encourage, and if you're all in, if you've already decided I'm going on this trip, I know Timmer over the years has talked about he would take his mom and his dad on those trips. I used to see them regularly. Some people have taken their siblings, some have taken kids, most it's a spouse or best friend. And so that again can be you if you complete what's on that form. And in my 23 years with the company, I would say this is one of the easier qualification sets they've put out there. All right, so with that, I haven't looked at my clock because I'm not concerned about that right now. I'm concerned that you all have this information. And so with that, Timmer, I want to go back to you to do something we do intend to do on a regular basis. And Lee, I see you before I go to Timmer.
Yeah,
so
John,
let me go to you, Lee.
I saved it to the Google Drive, and I just put a link, and anybody that has that link should be able to open it. If you have any trouble, let me know and I can email it to you. And I'm also sending the PDF to Timmer, and he can save the PDF to the Facebook group.
Love it. Thank you, Lee. Everyone should be able to open chat. Click on that right now. It should open it, and then you can come back to the Zoom just by hitting the Zoom icon, which should show up on your device. All right. So with that, we do intend to, on a regular basis, do what we call spotlight or feature associates on our team. And so we're going to kick that off tonight with somebody who's rocking. I've had a chance to do a couple Zooms with this gentleman, and was so excited when I learned about what you're about to hear that he earned. So with that, Timmer, let me go back to you to hear from Jonathan. Timmer, you're muted, my friend.
There you go. Sorry. Old habits die young, right? But anyway, wow, that was incredible. Listen, you think about these trips, and I remember my wife and I being on one of our first trips, right? And if you know my story, I got this on my very first trip that we went to in the Dominican Republic. And it was during some difficult times, 14 years ago in my life. And I bought this necklace on a beach from a gentleman for $1. And, he said, "Hey, your luck will change." And I'm like, I could use some good luck about right now. And I was with Amy. It was our first time we were together. It was like we had gotten together in March of 2008. And we got this trip in June of 2008. Let me tell you, it worked. My life has changed tremendously. I remember sitting on that trip because we didn't have a whole lot of money at the time. I'd gone through a difficult time, had made a lot of money in my life. And, life just got kind of tough for a minute. And I remember we were sitting in the hotel. My wife's like, "Well, what can we order for food?" I'm like, "Anything that you want." I remember that literally we had 9 trays of stuff, the little silver tops on top of everything. She wanted dessert. She ordered every dessert that you could possibly have, every one of them. She's like, "Which one should I get?" I go, "Any one that you want, order them all." So when you say everything is included, everything is included. And what I love about this trip, as John said, everybody knows what to do. All you gotta do is recruit 2 people a month for the next 8 months, because they're gonna get a membership anyway. So 2 people a month for 8 months, and you go on the trip. You help 3 of them fast start qualified, which is add a couple of associates and 1 membership. You just have to focus on it. And so I'm excited right now to be able to speak to a brand new associate who came on board with Mr. Jason Wardell. This gentleman I'll let him share a little bit of a story in a minute, but they met in the Chamber of Commerce, and he came on board. He's now Fast Start qualified. He's 1 associate away from picking up the additional $700 bonus for going to manager. Mr. Jonathan Stevens. Jonathan, are you there, sir?
I'm here. Tamara, how you doing there, good friend?
I'm doing good. I saw you earlier in your car, so I figured you're on the way somewhere. And thank you so much for taking time. I know it's 4th of July for a lot of folks. And real quick, Jonathan, share a little bit about your background. Okay. And why did you start with Legal Shield?
So I'm born and raised in the South Side of Chicago. I got into Legal Shield for a couple reasons, but the main reason is I'm a massage therapist. I own a spa and country club Hills, and I needed my business and myself to be protected as a massage therapist. So I became a customer. My good friend Jason Wardell, I met him through the Chamber of Commerce, and our good mutual friend Dr. Cornell Darden Jr. And Legal Shield has, done me wonders, to say the least. And I'm actually going through a lawsuit with my landlord right now, which if I didn't have Legal Shield, I don't know where I would have been. I have no idea how the legal system works when it comes to lawsuits. And I've been paying this, Legal Shield thing for months. I'm like, what is this? I got it because it's supposed to be taking care of me and my business, but what is this actually doing? So called Jason, like, hey, what's the number? Got the number to the attorney. And now I talk to this guy, my attorney, Jerome, almost daily. He's given me so many great ideas, such peace of mind for me and my family. It's been incredible, to say the least.
That's awesome. And so you've used the membership.
Yes.
And, recently became an associate, and as a brand new associate, tell us what you've done. I've had the opportunity to speak with you. I know you got the opportunity to speak with Jason. I know you've had the opportunity to do some work with John Drennan. Let's talk about, and I know that you had mentioned you've done a little bit of work in network marketing in the past. And, how do you look at the system we have in Legal Shield? So maybe you could share a little bit about what you've done to get Fast Start qualified, what you've done to, get to, close to the manager position. Not to mention, I know by simply recruiting, one of your first recruits, they put your name in the hat at Legal Shield, and you picked up a $500 bonus and they drew your name out, right? So maybe you can share a little bit about the system, kind of what you've done so far. I know you've done a few different things, but maybe you can share that with everyone.
Absolutely. So I've been doing network marketing since I was 14. I started off with Melaleuca, went to Amway Global, had a team with World Ventures, done Body by Visalis, done some other companies, and they are all been great. I've been to different conferences. I got different promotions, made, a ton of money with those companies. But as an adult, for me, I needed something to cover me and my family outside of the world. Like, beans and magic potions are great, trips are great, but there's a real world out here, and Legal Shield really covers all aspects of that. I will say to everybody, systems work, okay? Systems do work. So what doesn't matter what company, if you plug into the system, it will work. Systems do work. People fail, systems don't. So what I got in, because I've come across a lot of customers all the time, and I have a lot of clients, I was sharing this information with people, and I'm like, hey, if I'm gonna share it, I might as well get paid for it. So called up my good friend Jason, like, hey, it's that time. I need to be an associate. I need to know what this company is really about. So became an associate, made my list, and plugged into the system. I done a few Zoom calls with yourself, Jason, and John that went wonderful. I had about 16 or 17 guests on my last one, which was fantastic. So the thing that I've done that I've always tried to do with any company is just create good habits. So before I was an associate with Legal Shield, I would be on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, just spending just countless hours just looking at videos and commenting and laugh. But now, since I plug into the system, I am on Prospect all the time now. I'm on Prospect all the time now. I'm putting in people's information. I'm sending videos. I'm doing follow-ups. Hey, how'd you like this? Tell me about it, when you want to get signed up. And it's been going great. I actually have another customer to sign up tomorrow and another associate to sign up tomorrow. So it's just practicing good habits. And I'm sure that we all, like to do something. We have some type of thing that we spend our leisure time doing. So for me, it was just, being on social media. So I'm like, you know what? I could dedicate 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour every day and do some on Prospect. And when I started practicing those good habits, I started getting more traffic. And like you said, one day Legal Shield just called me like, hey, you want $500. And I'm like, is this a scam? Like, do you have the right number? And they was like, yeah. Are you Jonathan Stevens? I'm like, how you know my name? Okay. But they was like, yeah, Legal Shield, you were put into a raffle and you won $500. I'm like, well, if you know my name, you must know my bank account information too. And it was like, yeah. So they said the $500 will be in your account Tuesday. And I looked on Tuesday and it was there. And I was happy. I was really happy. Okay. Thank you to Legal Shield. I've been with a lot of different companies, wonderful leaders. They're wonderful mentors in a lot of different companies. I want to say thank you to all those different companies, but I also want to thank John and Jason and yourself, Timmer, for the nuggets and the time that you've allotted me to share and grow my team and grow this business. I'm not special. I just plugged into a system that was already there. And I've had great mentors like the people I've named to tell me what to do. And I followed the directions, made my list, get people in, plug people into the system, and we just keep this show rolling.
Well, listen, man, that is so awesome. I found out about your $500 you got the other day, and I was like, man, that is spectacular. Something about Jason Wardell, 2 people on Jason's team. Here's the thing about these little incentives, right? You're like, well, if I recruit somebody and I put my name in a hat, what could happen? Well, Jason had another associate earn $1,000 and they pulled their name out of the hat. Jason has just, ordered another, $500, to be able to come on in. And so it's like, we take a look at it. So Jonathan, just got another $500 being part of Jason. I think I want to join Jason's team because Jason's team seems to win, right? But thank you so much, Jonathan. I know we talked earlier, you're excited about the trip to, Puerto Vallarta, but it's about the services. That's what I want people to look at first and foremost. The best associates are those that have used the membership. And as Jonathan just talked about, he's used the services for almost a year. So that's a clue to everyone who's got a member that you want to reach out to them and say, hey, have you ever thought about partnering up with us? So Jonathan, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And I'm going to take it over to Mr. John Drennan now.
All right. Thanks so much, Jonathan, man. Great to hear your words there. And, network marketing in general is moving in a direction of satisfying a customer need first before that person's going to invest in becoming a rep or an associate, at least in the reputable companies. So you heard the formula, and Timmer just mentioned it. Jonathan became a customer first, and I've always believed and said our best associate prospects are satisfied customers. Next, Jonathan said a few things here that we're training. So these are quotes I wrote down. Number one, there's a real world out there. That was powerful, Jonathan, because we're dealing with something right now with our daughter and involving attorneys, and it's a real world that's tough stuff. And there's no cleaning detergent or vitamin that's going to help that. Secondly, you said you're on prospect all the time. That's part of our changing business and changing world. So I hope people caught that. We used to be able to say we're at luncheons and trainings all the time. Well, that's not the business today. Next, you said practicing good habits. What a great statement. And then finally, you said, I'm not special. But then you said, I plugged into the existing system. That's what made you special, because everyone can do that, but most people don't. So love those comments. So Timmer, at the beginning, I said Steve played a couple songs, Mexico and Carolina, songs by James Taylor. We already know why he played Mexico, the Puerto Vallarta trip. What about Carolina? Well, next year's event, the convention, the live convention next spring is in North Carolina. So you have that to look forward to. Okay, in wrapping up here, I just want to give everyone kind of here are the steps going forward for a couple things. One, if you want to qualify for the trip, but two, if you want to advance your business, the steps aren't different. Here they are. Number one is decide. That always has to come first. Make a real decision. Number two then is make your list. You heard Jonathan say that was really the first thing he did. He had already decided, I'm going to do this. Then the next thing he said was he made his list. Next is invite. What he said is he's on prospect all the time. What's he doing there? A big part of it's inviting. So just start inviting people to look at the prospect videos, to get on the Zooms, to get in front of the information. Again, be a friend and be a messenger. Then it's follow-up. And then finally, it's a daily focus of doing these things on a consistent basis. So that's kind of a quick summary there of what to do. So with that, we're going to wrap up this first of what's now our new format of doing these team Zooms once a month by going back to Mr. Steve Beck with the closing video. Happy 4th of July, everyone. Steve, thank you, and back to you, sir.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, where the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. God bless the USA.
From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee. Across the plains of Texas, oh, from sea to shining sea. From Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, oh, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. God bless this country, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless, please bless the USA.
Good night, everybody. Happy 4th of July.
Thank you, Steve.
Bye, guys.
night,
Bye,
happy
Mr.
Fourth.
Drennan.
July, thank
July
Happy 4th of
4th.
July, Mr. Drennan.
Thank you,
you,
everybody.
Jonathan, Jason.
Good night. Happy 4th.